I've known Babe Winkelman for a long time. I mean, I go back, and many of you may not know this, but I used to do a fishing show back in the 80s. And Babe and I wound up, we've been competitors for a long, long time. And friends. But, we've worked on the same side of sponsorship deals, and we built different brands together through the years. And so this will be my first opportunity to actually have him down and hunt. So I'm really looking forward to showing the place off.
FreedomMunitions.com, your online ammunition destination, presents The High Road with Keith Warren.
We hunt for different reasons, but it's more than just the kill.
First off, I'm grateful to be an American, to live in a country that still has country like this.
It's about the experience, freedom, passion, and adventure. I'm Keith Warren, and like you, I live for the hunt. Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
I'll pick you up at dark.
All right. A few folks from Texas, I probably look a little silly here wearing orange. I'm just so used to it about every place in the country that we go requires orange, not all of them. But to me, it's just another way to promote safety. We're in a box blind. Doesn't make any difference. So, in case you're wondering, that's why I got it on. It's a habitual, if you will, for me. I just put Babe in a stand about a half mile away, and this is his first time down here. This is actually my first time to hunt here in years, and actually on a mission. I'm trying to take a specific kind of deer for management purposes. This is my first time on this kind of a Texas deer hunt. Keith Warren, who's been in the television business for 20-some years, he and I just got to be friends over the years, and we got to talk, and he said, why don't you come down and do a show at my place with me, film a show with me? And I said, that's awful nice of you, Keith. He said, I'm serious. I said, so am I. Thanks. Let's do it. And that's how this started. I did not know until a few weeks ago that his operation here is a high fence operation.
20 years ago when we bought the place, if you'd have told me that we were going to put a high fence up, I'd have said, you're full of bull. There's no way I'm going to put up a high fence. But then I became a landowner. And then I became aware of the fact that there was no way in the world that I could grow big deer unless I did put up a high fence. And the reason why is because the neighbors, no matter what piece of property you have, you're going to have neighbors. Hopefully you have good neighbors. But if you don't have good neighbors, and you have neighbors that are going to try to take the benefit of everything that you put into a piece of property, you put water out, you put food out, you pass up all the young deer, and as soon as they jump the fence, one of the girlfriends takes them over there for a day, they don't come back because the neighbor's not committed to growing the biggest, best deer that they can. They're committed to just if it's brown, it's down. And so there was no way that I was going to ever accomplish my goal at growing big deer unless I did put up a high fence.
Typically, the only type of hunting I've ever done for deer, and what I thrive on, is fair chase deer out in the middle of God knows where. But this is going to be a whole new experience for me, because this is the type of hunting for a lot of people in America who support hunting with everything they can. That's what Keith's operation is here. And he keeps it, he just loves it for the deer. This is his own personal place here. And me, I never get sick and tired of watching deer do whatever they're going to do. We know that there's going to be deer. God knows what's going to be here. Keith just told me when he dropped me off here, he said, I have no idea what's around this area. He said, we have not had anybody hunt here at all. So we'll just look and wait and see, and maybe we'll get a crack at one today, and maybe we won't. Kind of quiet tonight on the Texas Hidden Springs Ranch. Matter of fact, this is about the slowest night that I've experienced in a long, long time.
The High Road with Keith Warren is presented by Reconics, 10X high-performance hunting gear, Legendary Arms Works, Sightmark. Supercharged Scent Killer by Wildlife Research Center, 99%. And Tannerite. The High Road will be right back.
The place I'm putting Babe this morning is a blind that we call the Short Tower. Short Tower is up on a ridge overlooking a clearing in the middle of a bunch of oak trees. This is the same spot that yesterday when we took Babe to the area that we called the hidden blind. We drove right past it, saw a big frame, typical buck. He was locked down with a doe there. Coming back, he was there again. So the hope is that we put him there this morning, that buck will show up. Meanwhile, I'm going to go to an area that we're going to be overlooking a water source. Later on today, I'm going to be checking game cameras and it'll tell us a whole lot. But right now, I'm getting a late start out this morning. I don't think it matters. These deer aren't moving much. The weather's warm, really warm. Matter of fact, right now it ought to be in the 40s, and right now it's probably in the mid-60s. It's going to get up close to 80 degrees today. So the deer activity is slow. I get asked all the time, how many deer do you shoot on your own place? The answer is very, very few. I'm extremely selective, and there's a reason why. I love growing deer. I love growing big deer. It's a passion of mine. The only reason why I'll shoot one is because I really need to, because it's a management decision. That's it. We try to target our management deer early in the season. The reason why is we don't want them breeding. And our management deer, for the most part, are pretty doggone good deer. On most places, they'd say, that's kind of like a lower-end trophy maybe. But our management bucks are big because genetically, we've shot out most of the bad genetics. And so we try to take these deer out early. We try to identify them on game cameras, say, okay, we want to take this one, this one, this one. And so earlier in the year, we've taken some pretty nice management deer, and we saw this one deer. It's like, gosh, I was hoping somebody'd smoke him. But all of a sudden, the rut came on, and he just went underground. We couldn't find him anymore. And really, we kept putting cameras out and trying to get pictures, and finally, all of a sudden, we started getting some pictures of him. But it was always at dark. If I get a shot here, it's going to be at a real close distance, less than 100 yards. Let's see what happens. As a deer manager, the one thing that I really like is seeing a lot of deer. The one thing that you've got to do, though, you got to take deer. And so, for me, I want to see a lot of deer. I want to look at them, and it allows me an opportunity not just to learn, but be able to actually figure out which one I want to pull the trigger on to take out a herd. Many times people will wind up going out and shooting the very first thing that comes in, and I understand that, because they're hunting in areas that don't have a big deer population. But when you come to a place like this that is managed for one reason only, and that's to grow the best whitetail deer that we can. And so I want to study them, I want to look at them, I want to make sure that when I pull the trigger, I'm confident I'm making the right decision. Big deer coming. He's back in the grass. Just coming out. Ooh, it's a good one. It is a big one. And it's not really light enough yet. I'm saying the prayers that he's going to keep on eating. I seen the doe he's with. She just scampered around him. What I don't want happening is her pulling him out of here. Oh boy, he's a nice buck. That is a deer I will shoot. Beautiful mainframe den. Whack! Dropped him right in his tracks. I shoot a 300 WSM, a short mag in here. And you might say, that's too much gun for Texas deer. Bull is what I say. It's impossible to be overgunned. It's just possible to be undergunned.
and he ain't going nowhere.
The High Road with Keith Warren is presented by Pulsar, Nemo Arms, Legends Ranch, the entire line of Food Saver Game Saver vacuum sealing systems, Record Rack Deer and Elk Feed, and FreedomMunitions.com, your online ammunition destination. The High Road will be right back. Tannerite Binary Reactive Rifle Targets presents viewer feedback.
All right, my name is Damon Flores, and my question is about supplemental feeding deer. I've got 300 acres high fence property I just fenced off, and my goal is to raise big deer. I know you feed Record Rack, but how long should it take to see results? Damon, that's a good question. The truth of the matter is you've got to have data, and if you don't have any data of the deer before you started feeding the supplemental feed, you won't know whether you're making ground or not. And so I encourage people to get lots and lots of data. There's no time like the present to start supplemental feeding, and I promise you're going to see results. But the deal is, once you start, you need to keep feeding continuously. Keep the feed out there. It's supplemental feed, not primary feed. You're going to see peaks and valleys. When Mother Nature is plentiful, you got a lot of rainfall, you're going to see a diminishing amount of feed eaten. When it's tough, like it can be sometimes in Texas, you're going to see more feed eaten. So it all depends upon the data. You've got to have data in order to gauge where you are in your program.
Big deer coming. Ooh, it's a good one. It is a big one. Whack. Dropped him right in his tracks. I desperately want to go see him and see if he's as big as I thought he was. I mean, he looks like a bruiser. Keith has got some absolutely beautiful land here. But it's got grass this high everywhere. It's never been grazed by cattle since he's owned it, and you know that he just builds the habitat in here for the deer. Like he was telling me last night after dinner, he said, I just love watching them, just love seeing the deer, just love being with them and working with them and seeing them do what they do. And he said, so I want the habitat to be perfect. He said it makes it very difficult to see the deer. Like this one here. Look at this one. Watch her go. She's walking into the grass. And just like that, she just disappeared. Now I can see the top of her ears. I mean, they've taken a total of 3 deer off so far this year, and that's it. Just allows a few guys to come down and do a hunt, enough to pay for some of the costs he has maintaining this deer property here.
Well, let's see here. I got a text message from Babe. He says he's got one on the ground. Pretty good morning, wasn't it?
Oh boy, this grass is so unique. All of a sudden you can see a rack.
Yep.
And then his head would go down, you couldn't see nothing. All of a sudden you see another rack. And then this big boy stepped out of the grass over here, and we waited until we had good light and dropped him right in his tracks.
But the grass, it's unbelievable. The deer can move through here, and if you're not paying attention, you're not going to see them at all. I mean, and we're losing leaves every day now. I mean, with the first good norther that comes through, we're going to lose the rest of the leaves. But the acorn crop is on the ground, and the deer got their heads down. Unless they have their heads up, you're not going to see them. Well, let's go see what you got.
You're going to like them, I think.
I think I will too.
All kinds of stuff on him we didn't know he had.
Smokes, look at that. I'm thrilled with him.
So am I. I mean, thank you so much.
Thank
it's
you.
just, he's a beauty.
Yes,
But what I
he is.
love about the deer is you get all kinds of junk.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Look at that.
I
How
would,
could somebody not like this? Look at that. How wide is he?
I don't know.
But he's wide enough.
Couple of feet.
I got a surprise for you. This afternoon, would you mind shooting a deer for me? I mean, you know, would you mind that? There's one deer in particular I really want you to go for him.
Yeah, all right.
1, 2, 3. This management deer is a beautiful deer. I mean, he's got, I don't know how many points, but he's got plenty. And he's just a beautiful deer, but he just doesn't have genetically what we want to see in the herd down the road. And I wanted Babe so bad to take him. And so I took Babe, I said, look, he's hanging in this one area. Let's go ahead and put you in this spot. And I kind of think that Babe thought, you know, high fence, you know, this is not fair chase. Okay, we're gonna stick him in this one area, and this buck's just gonna walk right in and say, shoot me, Babe. Yeah, right. Babe sits there and deer never showed up. And then he had to catch a flight out of here. And so what do? Well, I'm gonna hop in the blind and keep my fingers crossed.
The High Road with Keith Warren is presented by PyramidAir.com, Liberty Safe, Supercharged Scent Killer by Wildlife Research Center, 99%, Castle Rock Outfitters, and OpticsPlanet.com. The High Road will be right back.
Babe took off early this morning for the airport, and I decided to hop in a blind. We had a little cold front come in. It's about 15 degrees cooler this morning than it was yesterday. And so I'm pretty optimistic we're going to see a lot of animals. We're looking for one particular deer though, one deer that I do not want breeding in the herd. And if he shows up, he's going to be in trouble. Got some black buck right there.
Yeah, I wound up years ago. I said I was never going to have anything out here except whitetail deer because I love whitetail deer. But you know what? Black buck are beautiful. They are beautiful, and they don't compete at all with the whitetail deer. So we brought a few black buck out, and then all of a sudden now we got a lot of black buck out here.
There's a lot of deer out there, but I do not see who we're after. The deer that we're after is a year older than that deer right there. But that's a management buck too. That's all he's going to ever be. He'll get a little bit bigger than that, but that's all he's going to ever be. There's some standing over there in the grass, but their heads are all down. That one buck looks very suspect. That is him. That's absolutely him. You know what? The reason why we haven't seen him, look who's with him. He's got a doe with him. The doe's right to the left right there. That's him. Look at him. He does have a doe with him. That's the reason why Babe was unable to see him. He was hooked up with a doe. Oh yeah, that's a pretty deer. That's the one I wanted Babe to get right there. Oh, look at him. Come on out in the open. Boy, he's using that brush to cover himself, isn't he? He's got to move about 5 feet to the left, so. Come on, turn sideways. Okay, I got good news. He needs to turn sideways. He's not making it easy, is he? Okay. Okay. Goodness gracious. Tell me when he's in the clear. You there? My gosh, that was amazing. That deer right there. We've been hunting for him and finally had an opportunity at him, but you saw, I mean, he used every tree, every pile of brush, every blade of grass, every single thing that he could to avoid getting a shot. But that's the buck that I've been after. And I'm fixing to show you why.
All right, let me show you why I wanted this guy, why he was actually on our hit list. If you take a good look at his antlers, I mean, he's got a real nice set of antlers. I mean, take a look at that. He really is just a mainframe 8-point. He's a nice deer, but for me, what we're trying to do, our goal out here is to grow big, pretty, typical bucks. And non-typical deer, I really try to get them out of the herd because I don't want them breeding. Now what we're going to do, we're going to take him up to the headquarters. We're going to tag him first, move him up there, and then we're going to record all kinds of data. And what we do is we'll
wound up recording the weight and the age and the sex, overall condition of his body, his antler measurement. The reason for doing all that is it allows us to be able to, we've been doing it for 20 years now, it allows us to be able to tell where we are in our management program. And you know, the more data that you can compile with your deer herd, the better the decisions you can make on management. And the meat from this guy, well, it's going to make a lot of people really, really happy.
This is really the first time I've ever spent a lot of time with Babe. I mean, you know, we've gone to sponsor deals before and seen each other at shows and all, and I mean, we're friends. But this was an opportunity to spend some quality time with him, some joy of the hunt time with him, you know, around the campfire, talking about things that are important to us. I mean, not just talking about deer and hunting, but talking about families and, you know, about our lives and spending some good quality time together. And so this particular hunt was an exceptional experience for me because I got to spend more time with a guy that I needed to spend time with. I know that y'all have probably seen Babe on TV for a long time, and so have I. And the one thing that he promised me this year after he leaves from deer hunting, he says, "Hey, you like to catch big smallmouth?" "Oh yeah. Babe's gonna have me up north and we're gonna go fishing for some big smallmouth." If you'd like more information about hunting opportunities with us at the Texas Hidden Springs Ranch, you can look us up on our website at texashidden-springs-ranch.com.